In the small town of Nagano, a place where modernity met tradition, whispers of an old legend circulated among the townspeople. Children dared each other to speak of it at night, while adults exchanged knowing glances, their faces marked by a mixture of fear and reverence. The legend was that of Teke-Teke, a vengeful spirit whose story was as tragic as it was terrifying. It was said that Teke-Teke was once a young schoolgirl named Sachiko who lived many years ago. She was shy, with a passion for literature and a gentle smile that belied her unfortunate fate. One fateful evening, as Sachiko walked home from school, she was harassed by a group of bullies. In her desperation to escape, she ran towards a nearby train station, her footsteps echoing through the empty platform. The night was eerily quiet, with the hum of the distant city barely audible. Sachiko, blinded by tears and fear, didn't notice the train approaching until it was too late. In a horrific accident, she fell onto the tracks and was severed in half by the speeding locomotive. Her upper body was flung into the darkness, and her legs remained grotesquely splayed on the tracks. Sachiko died in agony, her last moments filled with pain and terror. But death was not the end for Sachiko. Her spirit, fueled by rage and sorrow, transformed into Teke-Teke, named for the eerie sound her hands made as she dragged her upper body along the ground. Teke-Teke was relentless, haunting the train station and the surrounding areas, seeking revenge on those who crossed her path. Her form was ghastly, with her torso covered in blood, her face twisted in a mask of anguish and her nails sharp as knives. Many years after the incident, in the summer of 1998, a high school student named Kenji moved to Nagano with his family. Kenji was a curious boy, fascinated by local folklore and ghost stories. He often spent his evenings exploring abandoned places and researching legends. One evening, his friends dared him to visit the old train station, where Teke-Teke was said to roam. Kenji, eager to prove his bravery, accepted the challenge. He armed himself with a flashlight and a digital recorder, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. As he approached the station, an unnatural chill ran down his spine. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the distant rumble of trains and the occasional rustle of leaves. The platform was deserted, covered in a thin layer of dust and grime. Kenji stepped cautiously, his flashlight casting long, eerie shadows. He reached the edge of the platform and peered down at the tracks, his heart pounding. Suddenly, a soft scraping sound echoed through the night. Teke, Teke, Teke. Kenji froze, his blood turning to ice. The sound grew louder, closer. He swung his flashlight frantically, its beam slicing through the darkness. Then he saw her. Teke-Teke, her eyes burning with fury, her mouth twisted into a grotesque grin. She dragged herself towards him, her nails scratching against the concrete, creating the haunting sound that gave her name. Kenji stumbled backward, his mind screaming to run, but his body paralyzed with terror. Teke-Teke moved swiftly, her ghostly form defying the laws of nature. She reached out with claw-like hands, and Kenji felt a cold, piercing pain as her nails raked across his legs. He screamed, falling to the ground, the flashlight rolling away. Desperation fueled his movements as he crawled towards the exit, but Teke-Teke was relentless. She closed the distance with terrifying speed, her eyes locked onto her prey. Just as she was about to deliver the final blow, a distant whistle pierced the night air. A train was approaching, its headlights cutting through the darkness. In that brief moment of distraction, Kenji summoned every ounce of strength and scrambled to his feet. He bolted towards the station entrance, the sound of Teke-Teke's pursuit echoing behind him. He burst into the open, the warm night air a stark contrast to the cold terror he had just experienced. Kenji never spoke of that night again. The scars on his legs served as a permanent reminder of his encounter with Teke-Teke. He left Nagano shortly after, but the legend of Teke-Teke continued to haunt the town, a chilling reminder of the vengeful spirit that lurked in the shadows, waiting for her next victim. So, if you ever find yourself near an old abandoned train station in Japan, beware of the silence. Listen closely, and if you hear the eerie sound of tick, 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 run. Run as fast as you can, for Teke-Teke is always searching and she will not rest until she finds you.